we'll hear from the Steve Sinnott Foundation group. Thank you very much for this time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Do a little pitch on improving the quality of education in the Lower River region in the Gambia.
Before we begin discussing our proposed project, here is some background information about the Gambia as well as the area we will be focusing on. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, schools were closed in Gambia for 7 months, meaning 700,000 students had a greatly reduced access to education. According to Our World in Data, the Gambia has the 17th lowest GDP per capita worldwide. The Gambia Bureau of Statistics has found that there is a 69.5% rural poverty rate as of 2016, which is an increase from the 64.2% in 2010. Lower basic education is free, however, hidden costs such as uniforms, stationery, and books prevent an estimated 29% of children from attending school. The area we will be specifically focusing on is the Lower River Region, LRR, which is rural area number 4 of the 5 administrative divisions of the Gambia. In the LRR, there are a total of 54 basic lower schools, 6 senior secondary schools, and 7 upper secondary schools. There is no electricity grid within the region. It is sourced through solar panels and generators. Classrooms are very basic and access to resources is limited. The name of the school we will be launching the pilot in is the Nemakuta Basic Cycle School. Per the 2013 census, the region had a population of 82,361. The problem we have identified is that a lack of resources has led to a poor quality of education in the Gambia. We have found through extensive research, children in the Gambia are not currently receiving quality, equitable, and inclusive education in comparison to their international peers, which is a step back in achieving universal access to education, SDG 4. We mapped out a problem tree to try and identify root causes and the effects that poor quality education is having. A few simplified examples of some causes are the outdated and limited textbooks, which are limiting the content available because there is a lack of learning resources available, as the resources are being allocated elsewhere, due to the government prioritizing funding to other sectors. Another cause is due to the lack of internet because there is a lack of signal and coverage due to routers and hubs being few and far between, as there is a lack of technology to make use of the internet, and ultimately there is a lack of electricity. A few examples of some effects are a poor quality education leading to reduced opportunities for learning, which leads to a higher dropout rate, resulting in incomplete education or no higher education at all, which brings about a lower specialization in industries. Another effect is that poor quality teaching leads to reduced opportunities for learning, which results in lower attainment levels amongst students.
Great. So now that we have identified the cause and effects of poor quality education, let's look at some of the existing projects in the Lower River region. The Steve Sinnott Foundation has implemented various projects in the Gambia, working with various stakeholders, including the Gambian Teachers Union. One project they have implemented is the Period Poverty Scheme, where teachers have been trained to teach schoolgirls how to make their own reusable sanitary pads from low-cost materials. This enables them to go to school while on their periods, despite the taboo around menstruation. Impacts of this project involve reduced bullying and harassment of girls due to improved hygiene and maintenance of menstruation. This project is already being implemented in schools in the Lower River region and is proving to be very successful. SSF have also worked alongside the Gambian Teachers Union to improve access to education during the COVID-19 pandemic. The project provided solar radios for students in the remote area of LRR to enable access to education through listening to the Gambian government's national broadcast. This helped promote inclusive and equitable education for the regions that the government had failed to provide for. The Steve Sinnott Foundation, alongside the Teachers Union, have also started planning the implementation of a learning resource center, which will be located in the Lower River region. The construction of the center has been postponed due to COVID, but hopefully will be back on track next year. This will greatly increase the access to learning and research for teachers as it will be in the heart of the river region. Also, the implementation of new modern learning devices and the digitalization of education can greatly increase the quality of education available. With circumstances now changing and schools reopening, we have decided we will look at how we can increase the quality of education provided. Right, so now onto our project, our initial research. Initially, we looked at introducing Wi-Fi connectivity to the Nemakuta Basic Cycle School in the LRR to increase access to a range of educational information. However, after further looking into it, we realized that given the region's environment, Wi-Fi doesn't offer a sustainable solution to the problem at large, and instead shifted our attention to the classroom learning environment itself. And so we have proposed the following.
Simply put, the goal is to improve quality of education delivered in classrooms in the LRR. So we define quality as a standard of resources, a standard of the curriculum, a standard of the teaching methods. So we see that improved resources can facilitate a better teaching method and allow for a wider range of learning materials. Ultimately, that will improve resources to ensure that students can expand their skills, their knowledge, and their understanding. So currently, only 10 students in grade 7 achieve above the average of 60% of the assessment marking, while 5 students achieved 75%. So that means that the remaining 30 students fall below the average of 60%. So in order to reach the goal, we set a SWOT objective that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Our SWOT objective is to increase the average grade students achieve in class so that by the end of the academic year, all students are achieving at least 60% of marks in their assessments. The proposed project, a recommended project that we have outlined, is a pilot project in the Nemakuta Basic School with the aim to improve quality education by digitalizing the classroom using sustainable energy. So this will involve a solar-powered TV screen along with 2 to 4 laptops. So as you can see, the solar panel will charge the battery, and the battery can then charge the TV screen and the laptops used in class. So the quality of education will be improved through providing pre-recorded content to be shown to students during class. The content will be collated by the Teachers Union organization, who will train teachers from the Lower River region on how to provide the learning materials effectively. In the context of our project, inclusivity comes from the interactiveness and engagement that allows students to work together. It will allow students to be introduced to digital technology, a wider range of learning materials, along with visual aid. So for the proposed project, this will involve 45 grade 7 students at the Nemakuta Basic Schools, along with the teachers of the school. So how are we going to measure this? At the end of the academic year, with a digitalized classroom, students' achieved grades will be compared to the grades of the previous year to measure the effect of the digitalized classrooms on students' learning abilities. The newly achieved grades can be compared with other schools in the region. As education is meant to allow for individuals to access a range of future opportunities, our proposal will foresee students receiving a holistic education that expands future job opportunities to multiple sectors.
So the impacts of our proposal will foresee an increase an increase in average attainment grades of students, a digitalized classroom environment through the introduction of technology, a more holistic and educational experience that offers a wider range of subjects, which can also serve as inspiration to students, and finally, an alleviation of the overall burden of the higher student to teacher ratios, which will allow for teachers to work more closely with students. Our project proposal has a variety of inputs and outputs. Some of the material resources include the TV screen, solar panel and battery, the cables and extension cords, a wall mount for the TV, laptops and laptop chargers. The human resources include purchasing, delivery, installation, researching, and the training costs. And the financial resources relate to funding. The outputs of our proposal shall foresee a solar-powered energy circuit that both the TVs and laptops can utilize, as well as a digitalized classroom environment. What you see on the screen now is a overall timeline of our project plan. We've already executed phase 1, which saw us conducting a situational analysis in order to identify the causes and potential solutions. Phase 2 is expected to run between now and December 18th. We intend on conducting further research into the most viable TV options, so looking at what type of device is most suitable for the classroom environment and climate and things like that. And additionally, we're going to begin looking into and identifying potential risks and uncertainties of our project proposal. Phase 3 is set to run from 11th of January to the 2nd of February. Here, we will explore ways to mitigate the risk and uncertainties that we would have identified in the previous stage. We will also work in partnership, well, we will attempt to work in partnership with the Brunel Engineering School to set up like a mock trial of the solar-powered unit and laptops to gain an insight into what the teachers and students' experience will be. And then after doing all that, we will try and identify and establish potential costs for the overall project and consult with any experts in the fields if necessary. Our fourth and final phase is dedicated to refining our project proposal, and it will conclude with a presentation of our overall findings on February 24th.
Next up, stakeholder analysis. So we have a number of stakeholders here on the board. So first up, the grade 7 students at the Nemakuta Basic Cycle School. These children will be impacted greatly as the first cohort with access to these modern learning devices. And also, of course, if our project is successful, then it can be replicated and future students of other schools in the LRR can have a go at these modern learning devices. Next up, the teachers in the LRR. The teachers in the LRR will have the digitalized resources to provide the better quality education. Teachers Union of the Gambia, who will be an important part of this project and help train teachers on how to use these devices. Steve Sinnett's Foundation, who will be funding this project, and then of course also the families of these students. In summary, our proposal works towards a sustainable development goal number 4, quality education, but also works on sustainable development goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. By introducing TV screens that are powered through solar, we hope to foresee improvements in the quality of education through the digitalization of learning using modern, sustainable technology. With pre-recorded content that displays videos in conjunction with the school curriculum, students will receive information that is more up-to-date, easy to understand, and not limited to printed materials or textbooks. Additionally, the TVs will alleviate the burden of the low teachers-to-student ratios in classrooms, thus allowing teachers to create a more personalized learning environment. If successful, this can be replicated in schools across the Gambia's region 4, the Lower River region, giving students access to a quality and equitable education and enabling access to lifelong learning opportunities for all. We'd like to thank you for your time and any questions?
Thank you.